curse should not be in the city and the field. Let's hypothetically say you want to go out here and start your own business. You got enough funds to start your own business, right? How many of our people is going to come and support your business? How many people you think? A lot of people. So do you support your people grocery stores? Huh? That's a curse. That's a curse. Do you support your people clothing stores? Because I know a lot of people, a lot of us that got clothing stores around here. And I'll be the first one to say, I'll go in there, and when I look around, I don't see none of us in there. I don't see none of us, right? I told you about you being married. I want to read this. Hebrews 13:3, 13:1. Marriage is honorable.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled.
Meaning marriage, that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to marry our sisters. That's what he wants us to do. We just can't just say, that's my wife. Because I gave you the scenario if somebody come up to her and do something to her, you can't get mad about it. That ain't yours. But if you marry her, guess what? You have every say-so on everything she do. Because you will be the head of the house. 1 Corinthians 11:3. We're going to start that because it starts with you. Everything starts with the man. Read.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So the person that's over you is Christ.
And the head of the woman is the man.
So you are over her. Read.
And the head of Christ is God.
So God, Christ, man, woman.
Right.
Every man praying or prophesying having his head covered.
We'll start right there. So I wanted you to see the order that it starts with you. Everything starts with you. How you move, how you feel, how you talk to her, it starts with you. You have a little girl in the back seat and a little boy. So remember what I said.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
That goes both ways, he and she. So you want to teach them the right things to do, right? So you are the example. The mother is the example, right?
And when he is old, he will not depart from me.
So you have to train the child up according to the Bible. And the only way you're going to do that, you can't live off your own understanding. You got to come back to this. Like I said, you was brought here for a reason. I gave you a flyer. Y'all got a flyer. All the information is on the back of that flyer when you can call. Right? At the end of the day, you want to know why the state that you in. You got a job? You don't have a job?
This is the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 3 and verse 10. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat.
So if you don't have a job to provide, you ain't gonna eat, right? So it's an obligation to put out here and find. We all got situations, we got background issues and all of that. You can't give up just because you have that. Because if you put in 10 applications, right? You put in 10 applications. Out of them 10, somebody gonna hit you up. Because some of us always looking for the high-paying job. Like when I moved out here to California, I tried to step into getting a high-paying job. It didn't work like that. I started from 9:25. And this is me leaving the police force. I got a certification in welding. I went from 9:25 to making what I make now. But this is what I did. I made a change in the way I move, in the way I think. I started keeping the laws of God. That's what I started doing. I started having kids. I started being a righteous example unto my kids. Get what I'm saying? Give me Proverbs. Huh? Let me ask you this. What's your nationality? African American. So look right here, right? Come over here. African American. Now, you know, let me ask you this. Where does the term African American come from? Because right here, everything to the left is who we really are. Everything to the right is who we told we are. This is what God said. This is what man said. So, where did the term African American come from? Huh? So I tell you, it comes from two white men. Look, Leo Scippius Africanus and America Vespucci. Two white men. They name us two freaking white men. And then think about this. They change our nationality every so many years. They went from Negro to color to nigger. They change it. So look, this Bible shows you who you are and what must you do while you're here. Give me Deuteronomy 28, verse 1.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28,
Mike.
and verse 1.
Mike, read.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord.
Deuteronomy 1:1, so we'll know who it's talking to. Because I really want you to see this. Read.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So this is Moses speaking to the children of Israel, all right? Showing us that it wasn't nobody else. It was just the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, okay? Go to verse 28. Chapter 28.
Chapter 20, it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto...
Hold on. So if we listen to what we supposed to do, according to the scriptures, right? Read.
Diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments.
So God gave us commandments. Remember, I was telling you earlier, we have things that we got to live by. No matter how you look at it, we got laws and statutes that God gave us that we got to live by. Read.
To do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So, if we did all these things, we're going to be above all nations on the earth. Jump to 15. But this is the flip side. So if we listen to the laws, we're going to be blessed. We're going to be on high. Now, as a nation of people, how you doing, sis? Question. As a nation of people, are we at the top or are we at the bottom? We where?
She said we should be at the top.
So we're not at the top, right? That is the curse. But if we listen to the laws, we will be on top. verse 15. This is the flip side to it. This goes into, and why this goes into why we're in the state that we in. All right, read.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So God is going to allow you to understand that you are supposed to be doing something, which is keeping the laws, in order for your life to turn around. Read.
Observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
So, if we kept the laws of God, we was going to be set on high, and we was going to be above all nations. But the flip side of that was what? If we didn't, we're going to be at a lower state. We're going to go through things. My apologies. We're going to go through things. We're not going to understand why we're going through these things. But the reason why we're going through these things is simply because we're not keeping the laws of God.
That's right.
Right? Read.
This day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So this is a curse. This is a curse that's going on with us. This ain't nothing that just happened. Everything that you're going through is something that happened. It's a curse. Because we stepped away from the laws of God and decided we want to do our own thing. And because we're doing our own thing, that's why we're having trials and tribulations on everything. Jump to verse 15. Read 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city and the field. Let's hypothetically say you want to go out here and start your own business. You got enough funds to start your own business, right? How many of our people is going to come and support your business? How many people you think? A lot of people? So do you support your people, grocery stores? Huh? That's a curse. That's a curse. Do you support your people clothing store? Because I know a lot of people, a lot of us that got clothing stores around here. And I'll be the first one to say, I'll go in there, and when I look around, I don't see none of us in there. I don't see none of us, right? Read. No, it said, cursed should not be in the field. Does it say right here? Use this one. Which one? This is us as a nation of people. This is our people. This is us getting whipped.
Right now.
Huh?
It's supposed to be like that right now.
It's supposed to be who?
It's supposed to be like that right now, today.
We still in the field? The so-called Hispanics, they in the field. They're picking oranges, they're picking apples, they're picking watermelons. The roles just reversed. We was doing it at one time, now the roles have reversed. Now they doing it. They are cursed people just like us, and we're the same people. They think they different, they not. We all the same people, the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, we're all the same people. Read. Read verse, go to 43.
Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
Who would you consider to be the stranger? Let me ask that. Who would you consider to be a stranger unto you? You in this land. This is not your land. So who would be considered to be the stranger? You ain't the stranger. This ain't your land, but you're not the stranger. It's talking about the so-called white man. They bought us here. They bought us here. And what did we do while our ancestors was here? What our ancestors did? They built everything around here. You think we get anything free? We don't get nothing free. Nothing. And they make it even more hard of us, people like this, right? So you go through a situation where you go into court, right? As soon as you step in the courtroom, they already made their decision, right? But if you living by this Bible, nothing that they say or do can prevail against you, bro. Nothing. Because God gonna represent you. You ain't gonna represent yourself. So you gotta come back to the laws of God. Let me ask you this, right? As a nation of people, what can we do to get out of this? What can we do? I basically gave you the answer the first time. So let me ask you this. If John 2 and 31, 9 and 31? No, he said prayer. I'm talking about this his sins. So let me ask you this. I want to be the first to tell you that it don't work like how people think. People think that we can just pray to God and we don't hear our prayers. God don't work like that, bro. Listen to this.
This is the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of God and doeth his will, him he heareth.
Doing his will is keeping the laws, my guy. All you gotta do, I gave you a flyer, right? It's a number on the back of that flyer. It starts with you. If you push to make a change, she gonna make a change. The more you don't make a change, she'll never make a change. You are the head of the house. So I watched you go to the car. I watched you go back and forth to the car to try to convince her to come. Me, myself, I ain't doing that. I'm gonna come up here, and I'm gonna hear it. And what I hear and what I learn, I'm gonna bring it back to it. This is what we're gonna do from here now on. Think about it. That's your biological daughter. Your daughter will probably be more receptive to it than probably her. But you continue to be that example. You gotta come up here. You up here. You think the daughter ain't watching? She's watching. So you gotta be that example, right?
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation